Welcome to Official Philly Image. Hi, I'm your host Tiffany Jackson, sitting with Philadelphia's former Inspector General. He's 42 years old. He succeeded long-term DA Lynn Abraham, and he's the first African American to hold his new position. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Philadelphia's current standing District Attorney, Mr. Seth Williams. Hello, Mr. Williams. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. How challenging is your new position in contrast to your previous job?
Well, I've had lots of jobs. I worked at my church cutting grass and cleaning the church. I worked at Sears selling pipes, lighters, tobacco, chewing gum, the Daily Number. I drove a cab for a year. I delivered pizzas. I even drove a bus. So I'm used to working hard. And my grandfather used to always tell me, and he had been a longshoreman, and he delivered ice and he delivered wood. And he wanted me to stay in school so that I could get an inside job, where there was water fountains and air conditioning. I wouldn't be outside breaking my back, digging ditches. So I work hard, but I keep all that in perspective of the men and women that didn't have the opportunities that I have and work very hard in back-breaking jobs. But I work very hard. I love what I do, and it encompasses a lot of different things. So yes, I'm a lawyer, and I work very hard in courtrooms to get here. For the most part, my job is one of being an administrator, being a boss, trying to motivate people that work for me, trying to select the right people to work for me, meeting with other stakeholders in the criminal justice system, the judges, the police commissioner, the prison commissioner, the mayor, all these different people, the governor, all these different people to try to fix our system and to make the system work. I have to meet with the public. I go to a lot of community meetings to talk to the public about what we do so that they can be confident that the criminal justice system is fair. I also spend a lot of time speaking to young kids, high school kids, junior high school, elementary school, just so that they know that they have to stay in school. I believe that the number one crime prevention tool is actually a high school diploma. And that the majority of people that get arrested in Philadelphia have one thing in common. They didn't finish high school. So I believe that we have to do all that we can to prevent crime. And the best thing we can do is to go talk to kids, let them know why it's important for them to stay in school so they can make their own decisions, and that they can go to Penn State, not the state pen, or they can go to Yale and not jail.
Okay. In my interview with Police Commissioner Ramsey, I found that one of his personal passions were reading to children because they are our future. Can you tell me one of yours?
Well, I enjoy going and speaking to students as well, to try to motivate them, to let them know that if I can achieve and excel, so can they. A lot of them look at me as some guy with a suit and think I have no way to relate to them, or there's a big difference, but there really isn't. I'm a kid who many people don't know. I was given up for adoption. I never knew who my parents were. I lived in an orphanage, and I lived in 2 foster homes, but I was blessed. I was adopted by a loving family, and that made all the difference in my life. So I know I could have been just another guy out on the street, like a lot of people I try to talk to, but I was able to achieve. But success didn't come easy. I've also failed a lot of things in life. I was thrown out of the United States Military Academy at West Point. I found that I got a medical discharge, I tell folks. I found out I was allergic to math and chemistry, so they sent me home. But I recognize and I've experienced failure, but I was able to pull myself up, get off the mat, if you were, as of being knocked down like in a boxing match, and start over. And I went to Penn State, and I was the president of the Black Caucus there. I was the president of the entire student government, and I've gone on to do things. So I try to go out and tell students that it's the struggle that makes us strong, and for them not to give up and not to let anybody tell them they can't be whatever they want to be. So I enjoy speaking to students. I also, something people might not know, I really like gardening. I like taking care of my yard and the flowers and the vegetables and the plants and cutting the grass. It kind of relaxes me, and I love the smell of fresh cut grass. So I really enjoy trying to beautify my house, and it's something I do, and it's relaxing, and I think it makes my kids happy.
If Lynn Abraham had ran for re-election, in what direction do you think it would have gone?
I would have won. I ran in 2005 after having served as an assistant district attorney for 10.5 years. I was the assistant chief of the municipal court unit where I supervised the 30 newest lawyers. I then created a unit called the Repeat Offenders Unit to address the phenomena that in Philadelphia 5% of the criminals commit 60% of the crimes. And I did that. So I had experience here as a supervisor. I've experienced in the community as a leader from the time I was very young to being the chairperson of my parish council, running the carnival at my church, being the president of the Overbrook Park Civic Association and Town Watch. I'm a major in the United States Army Reserves, so I have a lot of leadership experience. But I ran against my former boss, Lynn Abraham, in 2005. Not out of some sort of vendetta or personal grudge, but the system is broken. The #1 cause of death for black men in Philadelphia under 35 is homicide. Philadelphia leads the nation in the rate of homicides caused by handguns. Somebody has to stand up and say that the system is broken and needs to be fixed, and I thought I was that person. I ran in 2005. Most people didn't know who I was. I only raised $150,000. My opponent, the DA, she raised $1.3 million. Yet I still got 46% of the vote. I won half the wards in Philadelphia. I was endorsed by the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Tribune, the Sunday Sun, the West Side Weekly, and a host of unions. So I ran a clean campaign then, just about the issues, not the normal Philadelphia politics of demagoguery, of name-calling or mudslinging, just about these issues. And I was able to walk away with my head held up high, knowing that my daughters could be proud of me and that I stood up for what I believe in. And that's what I tell them to do. If she had run again, I think the reason why she decided to retire and she entered the DROP program, that's a deferred retirement program that they have for city employees, because most people had recognized that the handwriting was on the wall, that this young guy came out of nowhere, got almost half the votes, and had no money. And after that, I was appointed Inspector General by Mayor Street. It was my responsibility to investigate corruption and fraud and waste in the city government. I was working hard. I was raising my level of visibility. I was going to community meetings all around the city. I think most people agreed that given the opportunity for a head-to-head matchup, it would be even closer than the first time. So I'm very confident that I would have won. My former opponent and former boss chose not to run for reasons only she knows. I faced 4 other opponents in the primary election last year, and I got 42% of the vote. I then ran against a Republican in November, and I received 75% of the vote and was blessed and honored to be the first African American elected or appointed or to ever serve as district attorney, not only in the city of Philadelphia, but in the entire 321-year history of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Thank you, District Attorney Williams, for the interview.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Same here. And thank you for watching. I'm Tiffany Jackson, official Philly Image TV.